In a world where everyone is screaming for your attention, where your phone never stops buzzing, and where the pressure to succeed is constant, there is a peculiar sense of emptiness. We are more connected than ever, yet more anxious than ever. We chase status, we chase money, and we chase the approval of people who don't even care about us. But what if I told you that nearly 2,000 years ago, the most powerful man on earth, the Emperor of Rome, sat in a tent on the edge of a battlefield, not writing orders for his legions, but writing a guide on how to survive the war inside his own mind? This man was Marcus Aurelius, and his personal diary, now known as the Meditations, wasn't meant for us. It was a letter to himself. He was struggling with the exact same things you are. Toxic people, the fear of the future, and the overwhelming weight of existence. Today, we aren't just summarizing a book. We are performing a deep psychological surgery on the Stoic mind. We are going to analyze exactly how Aurelius managed to remain unshakable while the world around him was literally falling apart. This is the blueprint for emotional invincibility. Before we dive into the first principle, welcome to Emperor Mind. Most people will click off this video in the next few minutes. They are looking for quick fixes and cheap entertainment, but you are here because you seek real mastery over yourself. By watching this video to the very end, you're proving you belong to the small percentage of people with the focus and discipline required to actually change their consciousness. Subscribe and join the circle of those who choose wisdom over distraction. With that foundation set, we can move to the first principle. Marcus Aurelius lived in a world of absolute chaos. He faced the Antonine Plague, constant betrayals, and the brutal reality of frontier wars. Yet, in Book 4 of the Meditations, he writes something that sounds almost impossible. He says, "Men seek retreats for themselves, houses in the country, seashores and mountains, but this is altogether the mark of the most common sort of men." Think about that. How often do you tell yourself, "I just need a vacation. I just need a weekend away. If I could just change my environment, I'd be happy"? Aurelius calls this common. Why? Because he argues that you have a retreat far more powerful than any tropical beach. He tells himself, "For nowhere, either with more quiet or more freedom from trouble, does a man retire than into his own soul." This is the concept of the inner citadel. Aurelius is analyzing the human tendency to run away from problems. He explains that your unhappiness doesn't come from your boss, your bank account, or your relationship status. It comes from the judgment you place on those things. He writes, "Take away thy opinion, and then there is taken away the complaint. Take away the complaint, and the harm is gone." If someone insults you, the vibration of their vocal cords cannot physically hurt you. It is your opinion that being insulted is bad that causes the pain. Aurelius was the most powerful man on the planet, yet he spent his mornings reminding himself that he had no power over the world, only over his own reactions. This is the first step to becoming unshakable. Stop trying to fix the world to suit your mind. Start fixing your mind to withstand the world. When you realize that the harm is just a story you are telling yourself, you become a ghost to your enemies. They can strike at you, but they find nothing to hit. The war with people. We've all had those mornings. You wake up, and before you even have your coffee, you're already arguing with someone in your head. You're anticipating the gossip at the office, the rudeness of a stranger in traffic, or the passive-aggressive comment from a family member. Marcus Aurelius had it worse. He was surrounded by people who wanted to use him, lie to him, or even kill him. But look at how he opens Book 2. He doesn't write a strategy on how to defeat them. He writes a strategy on how to perceive them. He says, "Begin the morning by saying to thyself, I shall meet with the busybody, the ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, unsocial." Wait, isn't Stoicism about being positive? No, Stoicism is about being realistic. Aurelius explains that these people behave this way because they are in the dark. They cannot distinguish between good and evil. He writes, "But I, who have seen the nature of the good and the nature of the bad, I can neither be injured by any of them, for no one can fix on me what is ugly." This is a massive psychological shift. When someone is rude to you, your instinct is to take it personally. You think, how dare they treat me like this? But Aurelius analyzes this and concludes that their behavior is a reflection of their internal mess, not your worth. He goes further, saying that we were made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids. To be angry at another human being is to go against nature. By expecting people to be difficult, you remove their power to surprise you. You stop being a victim of their character and start becoming a student of it. The next time someone tries to drag you into their drama, remember the emperor's words. They aren't attacking you, they are struggling with themselves. And why should you let someone else's internal struggle ruin your peace? Have you ever felt like the universe is actively conspiring against you? You start a project, and the tech fails. You try to save money, and your car breaks down. Most people see these moments as stops. They see them as reasons to quit. But Marcus Aurelius looked at a roadblock and saw a fuel source. In Book 5, he writes one of the most famous lines in philosophical history: "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Let's analyze the psychology here. Aurelius argues that the mind is like a fire. A small flame can be extinguished by a bucket of water. But a great blaze, it consumes everything you throw at it. The more fuel you give it, even if that fuel is bad luck, the higher and hotter it burns. When you encounter a problem, you have two choices. You can complain that the path is blocked, or you can realize that the struggle of finding a new path is exactly what you need to grow stronger. He notes in Book 8 that nothing happens to any man which he is not formed by nature to bear. This is the emperor mind in practice. You don't pray for a life without obstacles. You develop a mind that uses obstacles to move forward. If someone betrays you, it's an opportunity to practice forgiveness. If you lose your job, it's an opportunity to practice reinvention. The obstacle isn't a wall, it's a stepping stone. The moment you stop seeing problems as interruptions to your life and start seeing them as the raw material of your life, you become dangerous. Because then, nothing, not even failure, can stop you. It only makes you more resourceful. We live our lives as if we have 10,000 years in our pockets. We procrastinate on our dreams. We hold on to grudges, and we wait for the perfect moment to finally be happy. But Marcus Aurelius, the ruler of the known world, constantly reminded himself of a brutal truth. Your time is a pinpoint in the eternity of the universe. In Book 2, he writes, "Remember how long thou hast been putting off these things, that a limit of time is fixed for thee, which if thou dost not use for clearing away the clouds from thy mind, it will go, and thou wilt go, and it will never return." Let's analyze why this is so powerful. Most people fear death, but Aurelius feared something much worse, living a life where your mind is already dead. He explains that even if you lived 3,000 years or 30,000, you can only lose the moment you are currently living, because that is all you actually possess. He looks at the famous men of the past, the emperors, the conquerors, the celebrities of Rome, and notes in Book 9 that they are all nothing but smoke and dust. Their fame vanished. Their bodies returned to the earth. Aurelius uses this analysis not to be depressed, but to be free. If fame is fleeting and the future is uncertain, then the only thing that matters is how you act right now. Are you being a good person in this second? Are you doing your work with focus in this second? By shrinking your perspective of time, you expand your power over the present. The anxiety of what if disappears because the only reality is what is. When you stop living for a future that doesn't exist, you finally start living the life you have. In the final pages of his diary, Marcus Aurelius stops analyzing the world and starts analyzing the soul. He asks himself a question that we should all ask every morning. How much time have I wasted trying to be what others want me to be, instead of being what I know I am? In Book 12, he writes, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others. This is the ultimate irony of the human condition. We are obsessed with our own survival, yet we hand the keys to our happiness over to people we don't even like." Aurelius's final lesson is about integrity. He explains that the straight path is the only one worth walking. He writes that you should be like a gold or an emerald or purple, always maintaining your color, no matter what happens to you. He concludes by telling us to stop debating what a good man should be and simply be one. Nature didn't put you here to be a critic, a victim, or a spectator. You are here to fulfill a function. As he prepares to face his own end, he writes, "Pass then through this little space of time conformably to nature, and end thy journey in content, just as an olive falls off when it is ripe." The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius isn't about being cold or emotionless. It's about being so deeply rooted in your own principles that the storms of life can only shake your leaves, but never pull up your roots. You have the power to retreat into your own mind at any moment. You have the power to change your perspective. And once you realize that, you're no longer a subject of the world. You're the ruler of your own life.